Manchester United transfer news. Brief. February 21st, 2026. Hello. Here's a roundup of the latest transfer developments regarding Manchester United as of February 21st, 2026. The Red Devils are currently making critical preparations for the summer window under the guidance of interim manager Michael Carrick.
All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're looking at a club that is at a massive turning point. The summer transfer window is just around the corner, and we're diving deep into the huge, high-stakes plan Manchester United is putting together for a complete and total overhaul.
You see, the club is at this really critical moment, and we're not just talking about signing a couple of new faces here. No. This is a planned top-to-bottom rebuild, the kind that's designed to completely reshape the team's identity for years to come.
And what's the spark for this whole revolution? Well, it all boils down to this one single massive question. Because when you lose your midfield anchor, it's like pulling a Jenga block from the bottom. It sets off a huge chain reaction that could redefine the entire squad.
Okay, so we know it's a done deal. Casemiro is leaving this summer, and that leaves this gaping hole right in the heart of the team. This isn't just about plugging a gap, you know? It's a move that forces the club's hand. They have to think strategically about what comes next.
So the big question is, how do you even begin to solve a problem like Casemiro? Well, it looks like United's answer is a 5-man shortlist. And let me tell you, they're targeting some seriously exciting talent from all over Europe. All right, let's take a look at who's on the list. First up, you've got Brighton's Carlos Baleba. He seems to be the top target, a real all-rounder, but wow, he comes with a £100 million price tag. Then there's Elliot Anderson from Forest, valued in a similar ballpark. Now, if they want to switch it up, maybe go for more control and creativity, that's where Adam Wharton comes in. His passing is just incredible. He's one of the most talked about players in the league. And for just raw power, they're eyeing that beast duo from Newcastle. Finally, for a more technical, keep-the-ball kind of player, there's Angela Stiller from Stuttgart.
You know, this quote from Louis Saha really hits the nail on the head. He called Newcastle's Tonali and Guimaraes a beast duo. And that word, beast, is so important. He's talking about that aggression, that fight, something a lot of people feel has been missing at Old Trafford. So this is about way more than just fancy footwork. It's about a whole new attitude.
But hold on, because this isn't just about the midfield, not by a long shot. The ripple effects from this are going to be felt everywhere. We're talking about a massive shakeup, with some seriously big names looking over their shoulders and wondering what their future holds.
And get this, the whole situation with Marcus Rashford is just wild. He's thriving on loan at Barcelona, and they have this insanely low buyout clause of just £26 million. The rumor is they could just buy him, turn around, and immediately flip him for a huge profit. Can you imagine? United would not only lose a key player, but also have to watch a rival cash in big time.
Ouch. And while all that's going on, other pieces are moving on the chessboard. It looks like Scott McTominay and Rasmus Højlund are pretty settled over at Napoli, with Højlund's move probably going to be made permanent for around £38 million. But the real bombshell, even the captain, Bruno Fernandes, isn't off limits. Giants like Bayern and PSG are sniffing around because of United's money troubles. It just goes to show you, absolutely no one is safe.
So with all these big names potentially heading for the exit, well, it just makes sense, right? The club has to be looking for new blood to reinforce the team all the way from the back line right up to the attack.
So what about the defense? To shore things up, there are 3 key names floating around. You've got Edmund Tassoba from that incredible Bayer Leverkusen team, Malik Thiaw from Newcastle, and that really dynamic left-back from Barcelona, Alejandro Balde.
And then there's the attack. See, there's another problem they need to solve up front. The current striker, Benjamin Šeško, well, he just hasn't really delivered on the hype, you know? And that's got the recruitment team out there hunting for another goal scorer.
Yeah, with Šeško not quite firing on all cylinders, a new name has popped up, Carl Eda Ayung from Levante. And here's the really interesting part. Apparently, he's dead set on a move to the Premier League. So you can see why a club like United would be a pretty tempting option for him, right?
Okay, so new midfielders, new defenders, new strikers. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? A dream shopping list. But, and this is a huge but, every single one of these dream moves is tied to a very, very real and very tricky financial situation that the club has to deal with. Which brings us to the elephant in the room. The question we're all thinking, we're hearing about £100 million for just one guy, so how on earth can they possibly afford all of this?
Well, here's your answer, and it is a jaw-dropper. The club is currently carrying a transfer debt of, wait for it, £540 million.
Let that sink in for a second. Over $500 million. That number, it dictates absolutely everything.
So, if that's the debt, how do they get to the £200 million they supposedly want to spend this summer? Well, there are two conditions, and they are absolutely non-negotiable. First, they have to sell players. Guys like Sancho, Rashford, and Højlund have to go to clear the books. And second, and this one is critical, they have to get into the Champions League next season. That revenue is everything.
So here's the bottom line. All those exciting names we just talked about, that whole ambitious plan, it's not a done deal. Not even close. The entire blueprint hangs by a thread, completely dependent on them hitting these really tough targets, both on the pitch and in the bank.
So what we're looking at here is this grand, ambitious vision slamming right up against a very harsh financial wall. Manchester United is essentially betting the house on itself, betting they can win enough and sell enough to make it all work. It is a massive, high-stakes gamble. And the only question left is, will it actually pay off?